If half or more of the donor journey is engagement cultivation, then what are some ideas about how to move that relationship forward? That's what Rue is asking here. It's taken me a while to do this, but I have a lot of ideas for you. So I have 14 different ideas about how to keep donors engaged between when you're asking and when you're ready for the next ask. Okay, I'm going to try to go through these pretty quickly. You can always, of course, invite donors to exclusive virtual or in-person events. You can send them your annual report. You should, of course, always be doing that. Adding a little post-it note or a handwritten card that says, hey, I wanted to draw your attention to the article on this page adds a nice touch, right? You can also send personalized impact stories that have to do with the programs that they specifically support. That feels really personalized and helps keep donors engaged. Obviously, you can't do them hyper personalized if you're talking about your high level donors, but you can always be sharing stories of impact broadly on your social media via email with all of your donors. Then you also can provide sort of behind the scenes organizational updates like, hey, our board is working on something cool, or our program team is going to launch this new thing that I want to let you in on. That is a great way to sort of give your donors a preview before you announce something more broadly, and they always appreciate that. You can invite donors to participate on advisory committees or different committees of the boards where you don't have to be a board member, but they can contribute in meaningful ways. That's always a great way to keep them engaged and let them get to know the organization better genuinely. Let them really participate behind the scenes. You can offer opportunities for volunteer engagement, particularly if you're a service delivery nonprofit like an animal shelter or something to that effect. There could be really boots on the ground type of volunteering that they could get hands-on experience with the organization. You can conduct donor surveys to gather feedback and really get their opinion about the issues at hand. Now, if you have this information about birthdays, anniversaries, other milestones, so if you're working with a donor, you can send them a birthday card. Obviously, you want to be sending thank you cards after they make gifts. You want to be sending them anniversary notes, or if you know they just started a business or left one job for another, you should be writing them little notes to let them know that you noticed that milestone in their life. You, of course, could send regular letters and, of course, newsletters and track the open rates and the click-through rates, because that is going to give you a clue as to who's actually reading those, which can be a signal for a donor that's ready to raise their hand and give a bigger amount. If they're constantly engaging with your content that they're sending out, that is definitely a signal. And if they're clicking through to specific articles about specific programs and you can recognize a pattern there, then that is a great lead into your next meeting. You're going to want to come prepared with more information about that specific program. You can invite donors to visit your program sites or facilities, invite them for tours, invite them to see what's new. If you have a new building or a new wing or something that you're doing on your facilities front, that's always a great way to keep donors involved. You can recognize donors on social media. This is a great way to use their story about why they support your organization to not only thank them and recognize them, but inspire others to get involved with your organization. So that's a twofer. But of course, we always want to only do that with permission, because some donors really value their privacy and anonymity when they're giving. We can share stories of impact through video testimonials. So we can film, the story of someone who's been helped by your organization that, of course, is willing to tell their story with permission and share that with donors. Like we used to do a student profile video every year to show the sort of students that we were educating and what they were going to be doing once they got their degrees. And our donors love seeing these stories. It's just such a great way to keep folks engaged. And again, track who's watching those videos if you have the capability to do that. Now, of course, you can always have meetings. Now, sometimes folks get a little burnt out with just meeting, but, if you met them in person, maybe do a Zoom meeting or a phone call next time. If you did a Zoom meeting last time, maybe meet for coffee or a meal, like mixing it up that way where they get to see your face sometimes, but then they don't have to, be on a screen every single time or show up and, devote a whole hour to your meeting. A quick check-in can be just as meaningful as a long dinner. And of course, if you are meeting with the person regularly and you haven't for a few months, you definitely want to send a quick email and say, hey, you want to check in? We haven't talked in a while. And just that continual one-on-one engagement is so important. So these last two kind of work together, but you want to switch up what you're doing with the person. And but some folks fall into their pattern, their habit, and they're like, I want to talk with you every couple of months on Zoom or whatever it is. That's your thing, right? If you're going to get coffee with a particular person on a regular basis and they like that, stick with that. But all of these other things that you can do up top are very valuable as well, that support that one-on-one conversation that you're having with your prospects. So I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions about the ideas above and which ones stand out to you, Rue, as feasible to implement with your donors.